Hello. So, my presentation has been an amazing experience and one that I will never forget. My presentation was on the simple topic of dental hygiene and nutrition. This was presented to preschoolers ages 5 and 6. The growth and development theory that I used to construct the format of my presentation came from Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. So, this theory talked about 8 stages of life. For each stage of life, Erikson actually described a crisis that everyone goes through, and this crisis can either result in a healthy or unhealthy outcome. Since my presentation was focused on preschoolers, I used Erikson's initiative versus guilt stage for ages 3 to 6. So, this theory is the belief that children of this age group are most eager to play, they really like to consider new ideas, and they also love to undertake adult-like activities. And through that, they often overstep their limits, causing the children to feel guilt and or lack self-confidence, since they aren't able to do things as well as adults. So these ideas were all incorporated into my presentation in several ways. I started off my presentation with my name and the introduction of my Bristol boards. After explaining to them the difference between the happy tooth and the sad tooth, and that the sad tooth was sad because it was germy and it wasn't so clean, and that the happy tooth was actually very happy because it was clean and strong, I just explained to them the importance of brushing their teeth and what bad food can actually do to them. I talked to them about when and why we brush our teeth, as well as the effects the bad tooth can have, and also how to make your teeth happy, because that's everyone's goals. I also explained to them how to brush their teeth using a pencil demonstration, and I sang to them like ABCs and Happy Birthday. They demonstrating this with me, so I do it, and then they just copy after me. And then after that demonstration of actually how to brush their teeth techniques, we played a Sesame Street video called "Healthy Teeth, Healthy Me." So this video, the Healthy Teeth, Healthy Me video, just consisted of Elmo summarizing everything I verbally discussed. He talked about brushing your teeth, the techniques, when, why, how, what healthy food can do to you, how healthy food gives you strong teeth. And the kids also seemed really engaged during this presentation, but when I played the video, I had everyone's attention. It was something that they really, really enjoyed, and I'm happy I chose to use that. At the end of the video, the kids were filled with so much new ideas and responsibilities of brushing their teeth and new healthy food strategies, which is exactly what Erikson says this group responds to based on their development and growth. So after the video, I played a game in the hope that it would kind of further register the information that I had just given them. So after I used the preschooler's desire for non-competitive play to start a food game, where I picked one volunteer to assist me, this person receives a miniature version of the happy and sad tooth that I had on the Bristol board, and I taped them to either side of their body. So then I handed out taped pieces of healthy and unhealthy foods, and I handed out the pieces of healthy and unhealthy food to the class, and then I asked my assistant to walk around, and as they were walk around, the kids would just stick where they think the food goes. If it's a bad food, then it'll make the tooth sad, and if it was a healthy food, then it'll make the tooth happy. So they put it on that side of the body. Okay. So after this, I just used the associative play when I handed out pictures of Sesame Street characters. So this is coloring books, coloring pages, and these characters would either be at the dentist, brushing their teeth, eating something healthy. So it was just kind of a good memory for them to be drawing exactly what I've been teaching them, and it's coloring, so it was fun. Associative play was actually incorporated because they were working together to do an individual activity. It was really cute. They were asking each other for advice. They were sharing colors. They were like, how do I start? What are you gonna do? So that's how I really actually saw associative play in my presentation. And at this time, and when the time was beginning to actually round up, I kind of just motivated the kids to just practice everything that I've learned. And then I handed out workshop certificates. So for example, like the certificate would just read like, way to go, Damilola. You're keeping your teeth and body healthy and strong. I also wrote the kids' names on all the certificates like prior to starting the presentation, so they all had their names on it and they were all really, really excited. And then because I did ask my dentist to donate toothbrushes, I also gave them the little children toothbrushes in that little package, like a certificate and a toothbrush, so they can go home and do what they learned. So this part of my presentation was included because in Erickson's theory, he talks about preschoolers often lack self-confidence because they're not able to do things as well as the adults, right? So I felt that by giving them some type of reward, it was actually giving them hope and not feel discouraged, and that they could actually do it just like an adult could. Like, even though I feel like I just wanted to give them the encouragement to take on this daily task of brushing their teeth correctly, independently, and daily. Okay, so the other theory that I used was Richard Mayer's cognitive theory of multidimensional learning. This theory explains Mayer's three main assumptions that must be considered to ensure the information is being processed. It's the belief that everybody has dual channels, limited capacity, and processes information actively. So dual channels is the understanding that there are separate channels for processing information, the auditory channel and the visual channels. So this was actually key throughout my presentation because I used my verbal explanations in the beginning and the ABC songs that I sang with them to actually address the auditory channels and their needs. The coloring pages and the Sesame Street video actually addressed their visual needs, but because the video that I played had captions, it actually addressed both their channels, the auditory and the visual. So when Richard actually talks about limited capacity, he's referring to the idea that there's only so much information that can be processed in a channel at a time. So we as humans are actually forced to make decisions about which piece of information we're going to pay attention to. So this is the main reason why the goal of my presentation was to help the children form simple connections, especially preschoolers, because they are known to have limited channel capacities. So I just had a lot of activities that were very repetitive, so that each way that I explained something, I did it in the hope that they would take more and more information every single time I repeated a concept. So like I verbally explained everything, then I demonstrated, then I had them watch a video that was a summary of what I just said, and then they colored and played a game, which kind of was like a final reminder but also a test, just to kind of hope that everything that I was teaching them would actually stick based on the fact that they do have limited channel capacities. So Mayer's third assumption is on the idea of actively processing information. So basically learning is a process of filtering, selecting, organizing, and integrating information. So because I know that knowledge is constructed in many different ways, I chose to use the process structure of knowledge to explain the cause and effect of how nutrition directly affects dental hygiene. So structure is actually very important. So if my message lacked guidance or structure, or just guidance overall, then the learner could easily become overwhelmed. So based on Richard's assumptions, I had to keep all my information very simple and straightforward and only use words that they would understand based on the child's cognitive development and their learning capacity. Okay, so overall this presentation was a great experience, and both the growth and development and learning theory was implemented into my delivery plan to best address the requirements of a preschooler. I'm extremely happy that I picked these two theories because in order to actually create a good learning plan, you really have to understand your age group and their learning and development. So I just want to thank you for this presentation. It was a great experience and something I probably would never be able to do again, and or might not have the opportunity to do again. So I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that all my documents included are what you need.